All right, can everybody see everything?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, my name is Mark Daly, and I am the Dean of International Education at Emporia State University. And we are so pleased to be able to chat with you for a while to talk to you about what's going on here at Emporia. Got some folks with me this morning. And Laura, Manesh, you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hi, good morning. My name's Laura. And quick question, Marco, I'm unable to turn on my video. I was wondering if, oh, there you go. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I hope you can see me now. My name's Laura Baron Reyes. I'm from Colombia, and I'm currently a graduate assistant here at Emporia State University. And while I'm doing my master's in informatics with a concentration in quantitative economics. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today and talk to you a little about Emporia State.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Munashe Mangwendeza, and from Harare, Zimbabwe. I also work as a graduate assistant in this office. I'm currently studying instructional design and technology. This is my second year in the grad program, so I'll be graduating in the fall. It's been a really fruitful experience. I've enjoyed my time at Emporia State. So yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to help you on your journey, your college journey. So yeah.
Okay, so where are we? What is Emporia State? Many international students know states like New York and Massachusetts. They know Washington, D.C., Florida, Texas, California, but not a lot of people know where Kansas is. You see on this map, we are right in the middle of the 48 states, highlighted there in the middle in gold. We call that the Midwest or the Heartland. Our state is Kansas, and our city is Emporia, and it's a small city of about 40,000. Laura Manesh, you want to talk a little bit about some of these photos?
I just thought this was a very cute picture that we have of campus. This is the bridge that we have, Worcester Lake, and it's right outside what we call the Union, and that's where all like the student services are. That's where we have the Starbucks. That's where the Office of International Education is. So right outside, there's this little dock it's very pretty throughout all the seasons, and this just goes to show that Emporia is how would you say it? Like it has all the 4 seasons. So right now we're in spring and we're starting to see the trees, turn green. It's starting to get a little bit warmer, but right now we had just experienced a very white winter because we had a lot of snow. So this was us probably like a month ago. It was very snowy here on campus.
So to add to what Laura said about the 4 seasons, this is obviously in the fall when it's transitioning into winter. And what you see here is Plum Hall, which houses a lot of our administrative offices, like the president's office, the provost. And there are also classes that go on in there, like English and journalism, some political science classes, some econ classes also are housed in Plum Hall. But this is one of our, I guess, one of our many notable sites on our campus, because as you can see in the distance, there's a little mascot there named Corky, and a lot of people love to take pictures right in front of Plum Hall. So it's a point of pride for us, and it's part of our campus, and we love it.
Okay, a little bit about our university profile. So we were founded in 1863 as the first public university in Kansas. There are over 4,000 universities in the United States. Some of them are very large with 40, 50,000. There are some with really fewer than 1,000. We are in the middle. We're mid-sized, and our population is about 6,000. Though we are mid-sized, we actually have quite a high percentage of international students, over 400 international students representing 60 different countries. We are what's known as a master's comprehensive. So we have a heavy emphasis on bachelor's degrees and master's degrees with just 1 PhD. That means we focus very much on the classroom, on student learning, and a little bit less so on professorial and postdoc sort of research things. So it's a really great place for students to go and get connected in the classroom and do things behind the scenes with the professors. We have a little video that gives you a little bit of a feeling of our campus and the international students.
Hola.
Bonjour.
Guten Tag.
Ni hao.
Salam.
Annyeong.
Привет.
Konnichiwa. Genki desu ka?
Hello. Hey everyone, it's Gabriel Molina, and guess what? The nice weather is already here, spring break has passed, so what have our international students been up to? Well, for starters, people have been enjoying activities inside the university and around the university. Here, you will always find something to do. Some students have been visiting places close by, like Kansas City or St. Louis, Missouri. But if you go a little bit farther, you'll eventually get to Chicago. It's a really popular destination for our students because it's a beautiful big city and it's close by. Now, if we go towards the East Coast, students have been visiting places like Boston, Washington, D.C., and New York. On the other side of the US, some people visited Hollywood, San Francisco, some people went to Universal Studios, which is awesome, and then others went over to Las Vegas. The students who went to San Francisco went there for a business competition called the Holt Prize. Then going down south, Florida, and going down even farther, international students who work for the international office went to Guatemala and Bolivia. Emporia is in a great spot for you to travel around. There's some beautiful places around us, beautiful cities, and if you want to go farther, let's say East Coast or West Coast, you can do it easily.
So that was a short video made by Gabriel, and he is from Bolivia. Let's see, so we've got some polls here. Let's see here. All right, so the first poll is, which countries are the presenters from? That's the three of us. So far, people seem to be doing pretty well. Okay, so yes, the answer, this wasn't a really tricky one, but the United States, Zimbabwe, and Colombia. Everybody who answered got that right. All right, and another one real quick. Actually, no, we'll go back here to go back to the slide. Sorry.
Hola.
Okay. Every year we have all sorts of different festivals and different functions where the international students have a chance to participate with local folks in Emporia. This is an example of one that is particularly favorite each semester, and that's the
Bonjour.
PowerPoint's got a mind of its own right now. This is our homecoming parade. So American football is a big sport at many universities, and the city of Emporia organizes this homecoming parade, and then students from all the different nations are invited to come and participate, and many of them decide to dress in traditional clothing. And we, of course, have all of the nation's flags on hand, and then they march down the main street and be a part of the celebration and are cheered on by the townspeople. Manashi and Laura, have you had a chance to do that before?
I participated in my first exchange semester, and it's fun when there's other people from your country and you just go and hold your flag, and it's just a sense of pride that you feel just holding your flag and being like, yes, I'm from Colombia, I came all the way here to study, and it's just a very cool experience.
Yes, I would share the same sentiment as what Laura has already said, and like Dr. Daly mentioned, it's homecoming week, so it's pretty awesome. There's a lot of activity on campus. A lot of our alumni or past students, they'll come back to visit. So the town is really buzzing. So many activities. So I really like homecoming week. It's a pretty awesome experience.
Okay. Okay, so as you see, we're trying to intersperse some nice slides, some pictures, and give some personal anecdotes in between the facts to make our presentation a little bit more lively. And sometimes, if it's all just facts, it's a little less exciting. Okay, accolades, rankings. What are some special things about Emporia State University? Each year, we are ranked among the best Midwestern universities by U.S. News and World Report and by the Princeton Review. Another point of pride that I'm particularly happy to say is out of the more than 4,000 universities in the United States, we are ranked 33rd highest, most generous in providing scholarships to our international students. So this was a special polling to see who gives out good funding for international students. So 33 out of over 4,000. We're the only public university in our state to be named the 2020-21 College of Distinction. And of course, the institution, the university itself has accreditation, as do many of the schools and colleges that make up the school. Our Applied English Center, of course, has national accreditation, Teachers College. And a lot of students are eager to come and study business. So it's important to know that our School of Business has AACSB accreditation. And that's quite a mark of distinction because slightly fewer than 5% of all business schools on the globe have that accreditation.
I wanted to mention that the university is not only very good at giving out scholarships, but also financial aid that might not manifest itself in the form of a traditional scholarship. For example, I can talk about my own experience last semester, how during COVID, of course, my country's borders were closed, so I wasn't able to come here last semester, and I couldn't start working as a graduate assistant. So that didn't mean that the office and the university didn't help me with a special scholarship to start my studies, but while I was still back home. So that's something that I think it's very important to note.
Yeah, and if I can add on to that, especially with the COVID challenges that were across the world, there was a lot of financial strain. Personally, I had financial challenges, and I was very appreciative to the university, especially the international office, because I was helped with funding to continue my studies. And yeah, I'm still here today, and I'm about to graduate, so it's something that I really appreciate. But also during the time when we had to close down our campus and every student had to go virtual, the school as a whole offered emergency scholarships for students to apply for. So if you had a need or needed to reduce your tuition, pay off your tuition, you could have applied for that scholarship and you could have been awarded some money. Also during that time, the school, because everybody had to go home and some student workers that we have on campus couldn't actually come and do their jobs physically, and they also couldn't work from home because of the nature of their jobs that you had to be here on campus. But what the school did is that they continued to pay every student worker the amount that they would have earned if they had been working right through to the end of the semester. So for me personally, as a student, that's something I really appreciate about Emporia State. And if I was looking for a university to come to that will have my back, this is something that I would definitely look into and consider.
Thank you. So who wants to say who these critters are? Real quick, almost every US school has what's called a mascot, and that tends to be some sort of an animal, or sometimes it's a mythological, make-believe animal, and that is the symbol then of the university pride and the symbol of their athletic prowess. And so this one is Corky, and Laura, what's Corky?
Corky is a hornet because we are the Hornet Nation, and actually I don't know what it's called, but like our logo or slogan or what we say when we're trying to show pride for our school is "Stingers Up." because we're trying to represent like the hornet stinger. So that's our thing here at Emporia State, because we were very, very proud to be hornets here. And there are a lot of corgis on campus, and it's fun to go around campus and try to spot them where they are.
Yeah.
One thing that a lot of families, of course, consider when they're choosing a university, especially if they're choosing a university thousands of miles or thousands of kilometers away from home, is it going to be safe? And Kansas is a safe state. It is ranked highly by agencies like the FBI as a safe place to study, as a safe place to live. City of Emporia, of the different cities in the state, we are one of the top 10 safest cities in the state, with a very, very low crime. And the university itself has been ranked for many years in a row as the #1 safest university campus in the state of Kansas.
I want to point out, I wanted to point out that coming from Colombia, sometimes it's very common back home that parents would advise you like, hey, don't walk outside with your phone, avoid being outside really late, because like don't try to put yourself in danger's way. And here it's a completely opposite experience, because here, like this morning, I was walking to campus and I had my phone. I was picking which songs to listen to. Nothing happened. Even if you have to leave campus really late because you're doing a group assignment, you're working, I've walked late back home and nothing has happened. And we were actually talking about this, that yesterday we were walking here in the Union, and there was a backpack just sitting there and nobody took it. Nobody did anything with the backpack. The backpack stayed there. That's just how safe Emporia, and especially the campus, is.
Yes, and if I can add to that, there's a very high degree of safety here. My parents and my family really appreciate it because, I'm thousands of kilometers away from my home. So the last thing they want to think about is, are you safe? Are you in danger? So that gives them peace of mind. I imagine they can sleep very comfortably at night knowing that I'm safe. So yes, Emporia does offer that. And like what Laura said, yeah, you feel really good and comfortable. So that's something I also appreciate too.
Okay, a few more pictures. This is our newest dormitory, and give you an idea of some of the living situations there. Menashe and Laura, I know Menashe, you lived in a residence hall when you first came.
Yes, I lived in what's called Morse Hall, and hopefully when whoever's watching, when you arrive to Emporia State, you'll see what's left of Morse Hall, but it's been totally revamped, renovated, and it's totally new. So actually there are 2 new dorms, as we like to call them, dormitories or residence halls. And this is one of them, which is Schellenkamp Hall. And that's pretty new too. So I think it was completed in the fall of 2019, I believe. So
Yeah.
it's still pretty new. There's another dorm, like I mentioned, that's been renovated. There's 2 others, Towers and Singular. So there are many residence halls on campus that are pretty nice to live in. And yeah, so pretty nice.
Yeah, I also got to live in Morse, but the old Morse. So it was still nice. It was still nice. But now it's completely different, like 100% remodeled and very, very modern.
One of the things about living on campus is you don't always have to cook all of your meals. So there are plenty of places to eat on campus. There's the cafeteria, and then there's a snack shop. There's a place to just get hamburgers or burritos, or sort of serves as a grill. And then we have a very nice Starbucks, so you can get different coffee and chai and my favorite pumpkin bread and things like that. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about the food situation on campus?
Oh yeah, I think that the food available here on campus, like in the Union, is very varied. But also, we're very close to downtown, so it's very easy to just cross the street and go to, for example, there's a Mexican grill that just has burritos or nachos, taco bowls to go. And it's very affordable. So you could just walk across the street, get your food, and come back to campus and have a meal, or even walk a little further. And there's even more coffee shops, more food options, Chinese restaurants. So that's the beauty of being literally at next to the main street of Emporia, because that's just gives you that many more options.
Right. And if I can just add on to like the stuff about, getting some funding or stuff like that. Actually, the school, I believe at the start of March, they opened up a program. Like if you want to go and eat in the cafeteria, all you had to do was basically, if you needed it, was to apply for it, and they'd review your application. And then if you're granted, you could go eat in the cafeteria. So personally, I live off campus, but I applied for it, and I've been eating in the cafeteria, and that saved me a lot of money on groceries. And yeah, I don't have to cook. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I even applied last week because they did a second rollout, and I forgot to tell you, Nash and Dr. Daly, but I also applied and I haven't used it yet. But it's like 14 meals a week, if I'm not mistaken. So you can go even during the weekends. I think you could still go and have either breakfast, brunch, or dinner, and that's an option that's very nice for students, especially that live off campus and they're a little bit further away and don't want to necessarily make the walk or the drive home for lunch or things like that. And also talking about food and Emporia making sure that their students don't have to face food insecurity. We also have a pantry here on campus called Corky's Pantry, and you can go one time a week and get groceries. It's like a limited amount that you can get, but it's also to make sure that you have the resources that you need to excel in your academic and social life.
Just to add what Laura's talking about, those are free groceries. So it's a volunteer place, and the food, then the students come and get it for free. And part of this relates sort of to why we are ranked 33 among all the universities, is that we care. We know the students are facing a lot of hardships due to COVID, and so we were able to do these things. Cookies cupboard, we have all the time, allowing the students to eat for free in the cafeteria. That is a limited thing, and that will probably go away really soon. But just gives you an idea of how we are here. Okay, this is a big slide with lots of undergraduate majors on it. We just wanted to put this up here. Obviously, we're going to be around to chat with you all individually. All of this is online, but we have over 200 academic programs for you, all the way from the fine arts like music or pottery, glass blowing, all the way to the sciences and business and teachers college and all sorts of things in between. So there's quite a good selection for undergraduate majors here. And then for graduate degrees, there are more than this, but we decided on this slide just to highlight the ones that are really particularly popular among the international students.
My graduate program is here. I am an informatics master's student. We have different concentrations, but the one that I chose was the quantitative economics concentration, and it's very focused on econometrics, data analysis, and research. So I thought it was a great opportunity to do. It's a major that allows you to do a lot of things at once, especially if you want to focus on research and then probably move on to a PhD. So if anyone's interested in applied research, I would definitely recommend that major. And if you like math, that's a good program to go to.
Yeah, I'm doing instructional design and technology, and so far, I mean, I've really enjoyed it. It's challenged me, which I like, because when you challenge, you grow as an individual. And one of the reasons why I chose it was after I got my bachelor's in accounting, I kind of wanted to focus more something to do with technology and tech. So that's why I chose instructional design and technology. but for some people, they might not know what it is. And actually, we spent, I think, a good maybe first 2 weeks of class trying to learn how you can explain what instructional design and technology is. But there's so many facets to it. But like now, and a good example is like because of COVID, people have had to learn virtually. So basically, people who are trained in instructional design and technology can help facilitate your courses, your learning management systems for your students, even though they're not physically on campus. Or even when students are on campus, there's a lot of technicalities that go within and intricacies that go within education that people who do instructional design technology can help it flow and make sense. So that's a little bit about instructional design technology. I do have friends that are, in other programs like Laura, like she's mentioned. I do have friends in the information technology, in the business administration. And actually, I had a friend who graduated who did a dual program and walked away with his MBA and his MSIT degree. And I think even with undergraduate degrees, it's open to do two majors. So if you have interest in two different things, you can do that. As an example, when I did my undergraduate degree, I was in accounting, but I always and still have a love of sport. So I did a minor in coaching education, and I still managed to graduate in time. So you can diversify however way you might want to pick your program. So yeah, the U.S. university education system is pretty flexible, and you can make it work for you.
Okay, time for a couple of polls here. Can you see the screen? Everybody? Can you see the poll?
I can't.
No.
Okay. Hold on here.
There it is.
Okay, so what is the name of our mascot? What's Emporia State's mascot? It's like a little tricky. Okay. Let's see what we got. So the answer was Corky. I don't know about Tommy, and I can see why people think the bee, because a hornet is a lot like a bee, but pretty good. All right, and then let's see here. And we've got this one. What century was Emporia State founded in? We tried to be a little bit kinder, didn't make you do the exact year, but which century? Results are coming in. Some indecision in there. Can you see the answers come in on the screen?
I can't.
No, I can't.
Okay, I wasn't sure whether everybody could see the live time updates. All right, we can end the polling here. The answer is the 19th century, 1863. Some of our buildings are pretty modern, so you might think the 20th century, and some of them are kind of pretty and old, but not quite the 1700s. So that it is, but it is 1863. And we got one more right now. Let's see. How many international students does Emporia State have? And of course, this is a an approximation, not the exact number. Coming in, looks like a couple of people might be changing their minds. All right, and answer is 400 plus. So,
There's a lot of us.
yeah. All right. So we'll continue with the presentation a little bit and see what else. All right. Admissions requirements. Okay, you have lots of admissions experts right here, especially Mr. Menashe. His job in the office is really to handle all sorts of applications as they come in and help with questions and things like that. He and Laura are actually more in those everyday things than I am. But here we have it. So we have undergrads and we have grads. For undergrad, you have to have a minimum of a 2.5, so US style GPA. We will convert your transcript, your grades for you here. We just need for you to submit an English translated transcript for us, and we'll go ahead and do that conversion. So whatever your scale is back home, we have all of the books and we know how to interpret that. Test scores like SAT and ACT, of course, they are useful. Most universities, even though they don't require them anymore, they do use them for special scholarship consideration. It doesn't mean all scholarships need that, but if you do have that score, and it's a good score, definitely turn that in and show us. US universities also want to see what it is you do outside of the classroom. We want to know and do you take your studies seriously? So what kind of a work ethic do you have? What kind of a personality do you have? We really want our students to contribute to our campus. That's a unique thing about, I think, Canada to some extent, but in the United States, we think that the students contribute to the university as much as the university to the students. So it's not just the professors who are the superstars with all the knowledge that make the university go. It's the students who come in and bring their hearts and minds and contribute. So we definitely want you to share that. And that sometimes plays a role in the admission decision, and it certainly plays a role in the scholarship decisions. And then for graduates, as with any university, that's going to vary from major to major. Things like medical school and dental school and clinical psychology and law school, those are incredibly complicated and competitive. And then there are others that may be less so. So each of those programs has those specific requirements laid out. And if you have questions, you can email us and we'll let you know. Overall, though, across the board, no graduate student applicant without a 3.25. Well, a 3.25 is really about the minimum to be a competitive GPA. Menashe, did you have something to say about this?
Yes, I just want to say to everyone, don't feel intimidated about the application process. It's actually relatively easy, because once you start your application and you submit it, there is somebody that will be there to essentially walk you through the application process. So if you have any questions or you're unsure about something, we can help you. There will be somebody who will be in constant communication from the moment you submit to the moment you get here on campus. There'll be someone constant communication with you. Dr. Daly has added that there's a 2.5 GPA. For some people, you might not know what your conversion is, but like he said, we do that in-house. So once you start your application process, you see on the portal, there's places to upload scans of your your transcripts. We also ask for your passport, scanned page of your passport, and a financial guarantee, but that's all uploaded online. And and then one tip that I tend to always tell people is give yourself time. So if you can, apply as early as possible in case you need to get certain documents. So just don't wait till the last minute. Usually the most successful people that get admitted are people who apply early. So
That is absolutely true. And I just want to point out again that this is not a process that you have to do alone. The process is fairly easy and straightforward online. Everything is online. You submit everything online, but we are always here to walk you through if you have questions before you submit your application, after you submit it. We are always here ready to help you answer any questions because we want to make sure that you have that you're very sure about your decision, that you're very happy with your decision. So we're always going to be here to help you out.
Great. This picture, this is a new picture in the School of Business, some new renovations there. And this is a picture of a really nice atrium in the Teachers College building. So the in between classes, it's a great place to study, do your homework, chat with your friends, have a coffee and things like that. So that's the Teachers College. Okay, the costs. As most people know, in general, university costs in the United States are among the highest on the globe. These are the costs without any scholarships that a student would pay who is not a resident of Kansas. With state universities in the United States, the residents of the state pay a cheaper price because the taxes from that state help subsidize those costs, right? The families pay toward the taxes, they have a cheaper price. What this price is, just so you know, it's for anybody who's not a Kansan who doesn't get a scholarship. So that means, so I'm a New Yorker, all my nieces and nephews, if they apply before any scholarships are included, this is the price they pay. Or if somebody's from Canada or somebody's from Colombia or somebody's from Zimbabwe. So it doesn't have to do necessarily what country you're from or whether you're a foreigner. It's just if you're not a Kansan. Luckily, we don't have one graduate student, one international student who pays that full price. So it's a scary one. And I don't like that price either. So this slide is a lot friendlier. On the left,
Our favorite
we have,
slide.
What's that?
Our favorite slide.
That's our favorite slide, yeah. So this shows you how we take this scary, scary price here and start whittling it down. So on the left column, you have undergraduate opportunities. The first thing is many of our undergraduates with a decent GPA, they can get 55% off from that tuition price. And then depending on their GPAs, if they're particularly high, if they're transfer students and coming in from another university, there's another category. If they have high ACT, SAT scores, they can get an additional 1,000 to 3,600 off. For department and talent scholarships, we just have departments out there who have special scholarships. You don't need to apply for those. So for instance, you want to major in mathematics, you apply to us. We make sure that your application materials go to the professors in the math department. They look at your application, they decide, I want to give this student $500. I want to give this student $750. That's how that works. And then the talent scholarships, that's a little bit different. If you are talented in the arts or in music, or you have athletic talent and things like that, there are additional scholarships that are possible there. For those, you need to let us know. So if you're an amazing violin player, or you're interested in trying out for the track team and things like that, you need to give us a heads up so we can put you in touch with the deciders on that. And on the graduate side, also the possibility for a 50% tuition scholarship. The graduate school has a $500 one-time scholarship for strong applicants. And then, of course, the best award to win money-wise is to get a graduate assistantship, because it pays all of the tuition, and it also provides you a 20-hour-a-week job, and that salary can really just pay all of your basic living costs. We got to try to pick up the pace a little bit, and Ashley and Laura, but do you guys want to say something about the scholarships?
Sure, I can just touch quickly on the undergraduate scholarships. Dr. Jay has already mentioned the diversity scholarship is huge. That is something that I would really look into to try tap into. And then, of course, the scholarships awarded on academic merit. So try your best, especially if you're about to graduate high school, shoot for high scores, high grades, so that you can have a chance to be in the conversation for these kinds of scholarships.
One last thing, I just want to point out that these are the scholarships that you apply to after you that you can apply to after you've submitted your application. So it's not so you can't apply for scholarships before submitting your application. That's not how it works. So I would just really suggest if you want to try and apply for the scholarships, remember that we need to process you for admission first.
That's important. That's important information. Because as Laura said, we have to see all of your application materials before we can decide on the scholarship. And I know that's very different from the way most countries do it, but what we can do though is when you're applying, if we can give you a pretty good idea of whether you can get that diversity award. So you can email us when you're applying and we can at least, we can probably tell you that pretty quickly. But of course, if you're an excellent violin player, Menashe, Laura, and I, we're not the violin judges and we're not the track coach judges and things like that. So that they just have to go through those processes. All right, this slide is a little bit of an amendment of the other slide before that was scary. And you see then what can happen to some of those prices with some scholarship monies. So with the undergraduate, so this shows a diversity scholarship applied. So that takes off $9,610. So that could be perhaps a minimum scholarship that many students could get if they have some of these other scholarships because of their test scores or their talents and things like that. Then they can go down even more than that. And then for the graduate, it shows then applied the diversity scholarship for that. So that $9,040, and it really whittles down that award quite a bit, like I said. So that's sort of the lower end of scholarships, kind of a minimum for students who have a pretty strong GPA, but they can increase there. And as I said earlier, the graduate assistantship would take that down pretty much. It would take away all the tuition and fees, and then the job, the 20 hours a week, would cover then the living expenses and the books and the things like that. We're going to keep moving along so we have time for questions. Okay.
Yes. So at Emporia State, one thing I want to point out about this slide is that there's a good placement rate for our graduates. Either they find a job or they go on to do be successful in another area of academics. So we have a 98% placement rate, which is pretty awesome. But I want to highlight Nukasha Green. She was actually a graduate assistant when I was doing my undergrad, and we actually worked together. She's actually one of our notable alumni that's gone to do very well. She worked on her school counseling degree, and now she works as a school counselor at a prestigious university. So she's one of many Hornets that have come through and have immersed themselves in the experience and have gone on to do very well for themselves.
Awesome. And then we also have another student. She's an undergraduate student from Guatemala. Her name is Paula Galvez. She's double majoring in physics and math. She currently works here as a student assistant for the Office of International Education, and she has won a lot of scholarships, including the Diversity Award that we mentioned, and also the Presidential Scholarship. And then during her second year of university, she won the Enley Memorial Scholarship, which is a full scholarship that covered her tuition, fees, and living expenses for a whole year. So that's wonderful. And we have a video here explaining of her talking a little bit about her experience.
Hi everyone, my name is Paula. I am an international student from Guatemala here at Emporia State
Can you hear it?
University. I am a junior,
Yes.
double majoring in
Okay.
physics and mathematics, and throughout my time here, I have been grateful to receive many scholarships at ASU. One of them being the Enley Memorial Scholarship, which is a full ride for 1 year, and the other one was a great experience as well. It was the ESERP, which is a grant for undergraduates to do research here with an on-campus faculty. I encourage you to apply. There are many opportunities to get funds for international students here, and fingers up. Hi everyone, my name
Oops.
is Paula. Hi everyone.
Hi.
There we go.
Hi.
And then
my name is.
we're going to introduce him.
Yes, that's Martin Okonkwo. He's from Nigeria. He's actually a friend of mine. He is an alumni now, so he graduated and he actually did the MBA and MSIT, and he's currently working for Geico, which is an insurance company here in the United States.
Hi, my name is Ifeanyi Martin Okonkwo, and I am an alum of Emporia State University. While at ESU, I studied information technology and business administration. Emporia State University empowered me in so many ways. One is the sense of belonging and community. Emporia State has over 130 organizations that students across the campus can join. I was a member of some of these organizations, especially in the School of Business. This helped me connect with my fellow students outside the classroom, and also an opportunity for me to build my leadership experience, all while contributing to our community as a whole. I'm glad I took advantage of these opportunities because it helped shape the person I am today. Thank you.
Okay. So here's a little slide to talk about what our alumni do. Whoops, my computer is having some strange things happening. So one of the things we think is a great role of Emporia State is, so obviously students come, they get a great education, they can do OPT, get internships and jobs right away, and we saw some examples of that. Some of those jobs then include becoming faculty members at high schools and at universities. We have a recent alum who now is a manager in Alibaba. He is from China and he went back and got that job. We have one who is actually one of the directorial staff of the World Bank, and we have one who served as Minister of Finance in her home country. Many of our grads, whether they are the grads from the bachelor's program or from the master's program, go on to other universities, and many of them bigger universities that are much more prestigious. And those include the University of Kansas. It's just a small selection. The University of Washington in Seattle, University of Kansas Medical School, State University of New York and Buffalo, Kansas State University, and St. Louis University, and then also Washington University in St. Louis. So PhDs, but some of them don't even stop there. After that, they go on and apply for postdoctoral fellowships, and just a few of these, and we just picked some of the really standout names. We've had students complete postdoctoral fellowships at the Yale School of Medicine, at Washington University in St. Louis, and at Northwestern University, just north of Chicago. One of the things then what we like to say is that Emporia State can be a great sort of a springboard or diving board. You come here and do really well, and then you bounce off and you can go and find a really exciting job or another graduate program and just continue on your path. Okay.
Okay, so here at Emporia State, like I think you might have heard from Martin's video, there's many opportunities outside the classroom too. There's over 130 student organizations. So there's something that meets everybody's interests. An example that I personally can give is I really love to play soccer. So I'm part of the soccer club, which we go and play other schools that have clubs. So that's pretty awesome. I'm also part of there's a Umoja, which is an African group. So there's different interests for everybody. If you like to play instruments, if you're into music, there's so many different activities that we encourage our students to kind of get into to kind of grow outside the classroom.
Absolutely. I think here at ESU, Emporia State, there's a place for everyone. I'm, for example, the vice president of the Hispanic American Leadership Organization, and that's a really good opportunity to network with people not only from Hispanic heritage, but even people here from the US who are interested in Hispanic leadership. So if you come to ESU, I'm sure you will find a club to join.
And like the slide says, and you heard me say earlier, obviously there's a lot of classroom learning going on here, but for us, the college experience, the university experience goes far beyond that. a good, important bandwidth of learning takes place outside of campus as you take the theories that you learn, the knowledge that you learn, and apply it and talk about it with friends and colleagues, and apply it at internships and in groups, and create new things and do exciting things. And sometimes we just invite a band and have a party. Not so much right now, but we're opening back up slowly from COVID, and we hope to be pretty much back to normal. We're having some events right now with some social distancing and things like that, but we're hoping for some concerts again, maybe come September. So this is a favorite thing on the 4th of July, open up the football stadium and watch the fireworks and things like that. Okay. Here's a little bit of video from some students, and they just introduce who they are and how many miles versus kilometers they traveled to come and be a Hornet.
I'm from Egypt. I traveled over 6,700 miles.
I'm from Estonia.
I'm from Iran.
I'm from South Korea.
I'm from Mali.
I'm from France.
I'm from Syria.
I'm from Tunisia, and I traveled 5,400 miles.
I come from China.
I'm from Finland.
I'm from Saudi Arabia, and I traveled almost 7,500 miles from home to become a Hornet.
We right now have a sort of an interesting marketing campaign, and I think this resonates a little bit with what you've heard from Menashe and Laura and me. There's an old phrase in English called the School of Hard Knocks, and the School of Hard Knocks is the school that teaches you through adversity how to get things done, because when you get knocked around, you learn how to correct your path and things like that. We're not the School of Hard Knocks, but what we did was we decided to say we're going to be the school of fill in the blank. We want you to come to our university with your talents and your aspirations and dreams and fill in that blank. So you come here and you make this the school of your future, your major, your activities. A few of the ones where we did fill in the blank, just to be a little bit fun, is we say sometimes we are the school of surprises around every corner. And what that features here in that photo, those are 2 theater majors. We have a theater program and a year-long theater program. Actually, we have ones in the summer. The other one I like quite a bit from the international office perspective, plus it's kind of fun to say we're the school of getting out of class. Well, actually, these scuba divers are not in class. They're technically, they're not out of class, they're technically in class. This is part of a study abroad program in the Bahamas that takes place in the winter time. It's better to go to the Bahamas and escape the snow. And they are studying right now in their scuba gear as part of their class. But again, it shows you it's more than just sitting in the lecture hall and listening to lectures and taking notes and studying for exams. Another way of saying it, we're the school of never a dull moment. But again, in order to make that happen, it's up to the students to stand up and be involved. Or the school of everything is possible. And again, that's about the students coming and writing in what they need to see happen and making that possible along with the faculty and staff to help them along the way. All right, we have a little bit of time for some questions. Okay, we have a question on here. What are the chances of African students securing a scholarship? When actually, not just because you are from Africa, but because you're one of our admissions staff who gets these questions. Why don't you go ahead and answer that?
So every person has a chance, regardless of where you come from, to get a scholarship. And it's something that we touched on in this presentation. It also depends on what your overall qualifications are as a student. So your grades, are you talented in sport, music? So we look at you as a whole. So there's a lot of different scholarships you can get, and it also depends at what level are you at. Are you an undergraduate student? Are you a graduate student? Because then there's so many different avenues and opportunities. So yes, everyone qualifies for a scholarship.
I think the way we have this set up is you can just type the question into the chat and we can read it. Is that right, Marco?
Yes. So all you have to do is put in your chats in the Q&A or in the chat box. I know we have a question. Oh yeah, so that was answered in the chat. And then in the Q&A, there are 2 questions. I don't know if you already answered those.
Yeah, we did. We talked about the admissions requirements already. And so if that answer, if Sohan has something more specific related to their program, then I can answer that later and privately.
Awesome. And then there's another one about how can I watch the recording? It's going to be on our YouTube channel tomorrow. Awesome. So if anyone else has any questions, please drop them into the Q&A or the chat, and we can definitely get those answered for you. In the meantime, did you have anything you wanted to maybe share with the students, maybe some words of wisdom for studying in the USA, as that is our theme today?
Yeah, I think I'm going to let Manashe and Laura, we just have a couple of minutes, maybe just 60 seconds each, something about if somebody has a question, a fear, an apprehension. Laura, what would you say to them?
I would just say that you're not going to grow in your comfort zone. And what better way to step out of your comfort zone than going to a different country, a new culture, and a new language. And I promise you that here at Emporia State, we will make sure that you feel at home, and that's almost guaranteed that you will feel at home.
Yeah, and if I can just add to what like Laura said, like you don't grow if you don't go outside your your comfort zone, and that's something that I really appreciate coming to the United States, because there's just so many, our campus has so many international students in and amongst the Americans, so you get a global view, global appreciation of different cultures and perspectives. So your mind is kind of opened in a way that you may not probably have if you just stay in your own comfort zone. So yeah, I would completely encourage you to apply and get out there and broaden your horizons. So yeah.
And I'll add real quick, for all of you out there, if you can go to an Education USA office nearby, do go there. There are all sorts of different folks who can help you, but Education USA is a really great resource. We work with them quite carefully. They can help you with your decisions. And one of the things that almost all the US universities on this fair included, they're really here to answer your questions. Don't feel shy about sending them a WhatsApp or an email. They're going to actually respond, and probably within a day or even a half a day, obviously depending on the time zone difference. What we're doing here in particular, though, is we're trying to make it accessible for all the students. So if we can refer you to one of our community colleges to help it be more affordable, that's fine. We also can refer you to our neighbors who have engineering programs and things like that, architecture programs that we don't have. So it's not just about getting you to come to ESU, but helping you find that education pathway to the United States. So I think with that, we're out of time, but we appreciate your tuning in and listening to our show. We hope that we hope you found that enjoyable and informative.
So, sorry, there are just a couple of questions that have just been dropped, in the Q&A. Maybe do you want to talk about those now, or do you want them to reach out to you to your booth? If you want to give like a minute or two after the last questions.
Let me try. So I have a 1-year business communication program degree, which I was eligible because I have intermediate professional course exams. Am I eligible for a master's in business? So Rashmi, it could be. We'll need to see the more details on what that program is that you're referring to. So please just, we're going to be in the chat later. So just email us and we can give you a better answer. And then someone asked about pre-med. Pre-med programs are pretty much the same at all universities. Basically, medical school in the United States is a doctoral program, and you need to do a bachelor's program first. And it consists of 2 semesters of physics, 4 semesters of chemistry, some biology, and quite a bit of math. And then with whatever bachelor's degree that you choose to fulfill, and then you apply to medical school. But it's definitely something that can be done in 4 years and at just about any university, including ours.
Awesome. And there's one more. Was it scary with everything going on?
Okay.
I think I can answer that very quickly. I don't know if you're referring to the pandemic situation, but regarding that, I can say that at least here at ESU, I could confidently say that basically everyone now is vaccinated. We're all vaccinated. We've all, and they're slowly easing down the restrictions, and everyone here is very good. Before we could get vaccinated, everyone here was really good about social distancing, mask wearing. So I personally wasn't very scared to come back to the US.
Marco, do we have a second to answer that, maybe in case they're asking about the gun violence and things, or should we have to cut it off?
Sure.
Menashe, do you want to take that? So what, maybe part of this was the pandemic, but I'm sure, I mean, things that happen in the news are broadcast across the globe, and some shootings and things. Do you want to talk about the scariness of that?
Yeah, sure. One thing I just want to say sometimes is like, if you're watching the news, just try to remember they're trying to get viewers. So sometimes they'll show you some things that are like scary and just try getting, your attention. So just remember that. But at the same time, there's different places in the United States, and like we've covered here, and how the community is, and how you feel welcomed, and how the community appreciates diversity is something big at Emporia State. So as someone looking maybe from the outside looking in, that's definitely something to consider, and look at maybe where are you going, what's the environment like, because I mean, anywhere you go in the world, there's always potential risk of, something happening, that's just how it is. But I'll just say, don't be too scared. Don't let it get to you too much, and just like do your research of the community you're going into. But speaking from an Emporia State point of view, our campus is very safe. We're very open to diversity, like so welcoming. Laura has already said that it's like your home away from home. So at least for Emporia State, I can say that.
And also, just real quick, for any of you, if you want to chat about that sort of a question on a more one-on-one level, you can email, and any of our students from 5 or 6 different countries who work around the international office can talk to you about that, because that's something you definitely want to consider if it's on your mind. Okay.
Amazing. So we'll end off there. For anyone else who has any questions, you can reach all these amazing people at their booth in the exhibit hall. Okay. And I hope you all have a good day. Bye now.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.